67. As we've been doing these things, obviously I've shown a lot throughout the whole process, and tonight we'll show you a bit more. So show 67 is going to be fairly interesting, but as people said, we do run out of things to slightly talk about, but we always have some new updates. So we'll have some new updates tonight in the show, but we're going to go back and just go through one quick thing. Colors. We have the RG that has orange suspension and a black chassis and an orange upper cage. These are actually anodized black, even though they look silver here. All the stuff is anodized black. So it's got a hard coat on the hubs and spindles. They are not silver. But the LE has silver suspension, silver springs. Got the same shocks as you see it here, and then the base has black suspension, black cage, black roll cage. All the chassis are the same. They just have some different color features built into them, and just separates the options of vehicles. CVT cover. A lot of people have asked about the CVT cover. They've seen renderings of it. Obviously, we haven't shown it in a few weeks. Last week we talked about other items, and we didn't bring this up, but CVT cover is here, and I can show you it on the vehicle. This is a CVT cover on the vehicle, and you can see it here coming from the back, coming in. As you can see, the robot is getting pretty good with the welding procedures. Pretty sporty right there. Obviously acceptable in my books. Top of the CVT has structure. People have asked, is it going to fracture if we happen to lose a belt? Obviously our intention is no. And we haven't lost a belt testing, so the weird thing is we wouldn't know. But I believe it's because we got so much cooling and fans and stuff built into it. Just zooming in, the castings are absolutely beautiful. Top-notch parts here, and fit and finish is pretty killer. So as you can see the two bearing supports here. We talked about the CVT cover being a structural support to the bearings. So when the belt gets pulled, obviously it's trying to pull the crank, it's trying to pull the input shaft to the gearbox. This keeps them spread apart. You can see it's got structure built into it. I believe we have a photo in here explaining a little bit more. But not only does it have fore-aft structure, it has left-right structure, as it's all tied in there. And then there's a cutaway again, showing you what these little nubs look like that the pilot bearings ride into. So kind of dance back through that just a little bit. We do have the accessory fan there for desert racing. If you wanted to stick that on there and do some machining to the cover, we did put the nubs on there from the get-go, so we could throw a spall fan on the outside, like you've seen us do on Max's race car, and you've seen it on our Dakar cars in the past. We did build that into this if it's something we need to do at a later time of day, but right now we just don't see that we have that need. But it's sitting there for us. Again, there's the front view. It's a little dirty. We could have wiped it off in the picture there. Sorry about that. There it is from a structural, bearing 1, bearing 2, all the lateral casting supports as well as the bosses. Like I said, the welds are getting really good. We pushed really hard on that. And cover comes off with clips, so it's toolless. I can show you in this one here. You can see the little tapped bosses and machined. It's got a over-center latch, locking latch right here. And it has, I believe, 3 or 4 of them around. I can probably see it from here. Got 1 there, 2 there. I want to say it's only 3 of them. It might be 3, could be 4. But it also has a full, and I'll go to the cutaway on this one. And as I cut away here, it does have a tongue and groove that it sits into. So once it clips in there, It's basically locked together as a structure. Little Chinese handcuff deal there that locks it in, and bang, it holds it in, and the cover holds it up tight on the latches. So it does register there. These do have plenty of engagement for the bearings, and there is over center latches that hold the structure together. Obviously, the inside one is bolted to the gearbox and to the motor, so that's all tied together as a structural member as well, additional structural member, not the only structural member.
Somebody asked, they missed out what the cover is made of, and is it O-ring sealed in?
It does have a seal in between there where the over center tongue and groove. It will have a little seal in there, little foam gasket seal, as well as the cover is, I believe it's 6061 T6 as well. So it is a casting.
Belt removal tool, can you purchase that separately?
Belt removal tool is something we will have as an accessory. Dealers will have them, and we will make them available for the dealers. We do have something already in mind. I'm happy with that. I think this is one of the final touches that the people were looking for. I think the detail of it, obviously, you can see that one's nice and clean. It's a sweet part. A lot of work went into it, a lot of engineering went into it, a lot of drafts went into it, a lot of tooling. Had some obviously hiccups with it, trying to get it to pull out once it's casted. But final part, double thumbs up. Really stoked. It was a vision that turned into reality, and it'll be as a production item. You know, normally something like this would be I think it's about a $700 or $800 accessory for a tie bar. There is none that have a fully enclosed tie bar built-in CVT structure. So this is another one of those additional items that we didn't talk about back at Sand Sports. But if we're going to try to build the best product we know how, I felt this was something to both make the engine stronger, the gearbox stronger, and keep the belt aligned better. It's just all in all a better package. And the way it works, it's got tons of support. So I know we drove our engineering team crazy, and we drove the manufacturers crazy trying to get this tool to be this precise. But this is one of those things, Imagineering 101. If you can imagine it, I've got a group of guys here that can design it, and really proud of our engineering team here at Speed UTV.
Any kind of a drain or a vent?
Of course, it has drain on the bottom, and vent there's more than a vent. This is there's big fans. Do we have CVTs in this presentation tonight? Hold on one second. I could probably get Daniel to send me something real quick, but let's go here. I know we're going back to CAD just because we didn't put the CVT in. We have shown the production CVTs. This is a massive big fan here, and there's another fan on this one, and on the secondary, there's an external fan on the outside, and there's fan blades coped in there. This works like a wind tunnel down along the bottom. And so it sucks the air in and then exits it out through the exhaust and works as an exhaust cooler as well after it already did that. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So the inlets, I can get back to the inlets here. You can see one inlet right here, a nice big inlet here. That's on the inside going to the inside fan. Over here on this side, you can see the inlet here on the outside fan feeding the air in, and then it goes through the front CVT, gets spun along the bottom through this wind tunnel section here. It's tapped in there, so we flow the air around it. We scoop it around here, and then we send it out the top, and we actually use the CVT air to cool the exhaust as well. So it's always, when the CVT is running, there's a naturally built-in fan that is cooling the exhaust as well. So it all has been thought of, and yes, there is a drain in the bottom of this that we would have to remove the plug. It is not one of those little squeezable deals, but there's a plug in the bottom that you need to remove. Probably not a bad idea for the swamp guys to look at something about that, machining and dropping some kind of rubber insert in there. But right now, our goal is to flow air through it and flow air out of it, keep it as clean as we possibly can, as we have a filtered air on the way in, and the exit air is always exiting, doesn't come back on as entrance. All right, let's move into the next one. let's talk about these cars a little bit. And last week on a call, I mentioned something about the Baja Bandit, and I want to give you things that happened throughout the process. We're by no means perfect, and when we were doing tooling on the four-seater, we built the four-seater first, which is different from what the other manufacturers have done, different than I've done in the past as well. Normally you do a two-seater and then you build a four-seater. Well, I had a vision of doing the four-seater and making everything interchangeable. So when you have a two-seater, all you do is remove your rear seat or your rear seats. Actually, you remove the front seats. You remove your rear door and you slide the cage together, and all the same plastic is the same stuff you use besides the two rear doors, the two rocker panels. The thing would fit together. Unfortunately, throughout the tooling process, things got modified and changed, and we have lost about a ½ inch in here. On the four-seater, it was no big deal because we can make it up in the second back door. But when we shrunk the parts back and then put it back on the Bandit chassis, we had some gaps. And we had a little gap right in here. So as you guys are aware, and we've told you guys this, the Bandit will be the third car down the process of assembly. And we looked at lengthening that car and then did our research and listened to our customers last week. And I understand a lot of the toy haulers are 12-foot beds, and this was going to take us right to 12-foot, which wouldn't give us any gaps front or rear. And the reality is we're going to have to go back and change the rear fender on the Bandit, which means that this will be a running change on the four-seaters at a later time and day. But it's a rear fender and it's an outside skin. Here's where we were looking at options, and this was the 100-inch Bandit. And the reality is it turns into roofs. It turns into so many different panels that don't work for us. Roof being a big accessory that is hard to ship. One thing we've done is we kept the Bandit and the Diablo as the same roof cages together, which means they share the same common roof. If we go to 100 inches, then I can't put the roof from the Diablo on the Bandit because it's not long enough in the cage area, because if I don't move this part of the cage back, then the cage is sitting literally right on top of the driver's head, which is something we didn't want to do. So the reality came back to, after all the research in the last 7 days, we're going to work on some rear tooling, and we're going to make a modified tool for the rear fender to make the Bandit somewhere around that 95, 96-inch wheelbase. But we've got it all back together. Fenders are all seaming back together again. Nothing to do with the front door of the four-seater. It's the outside skin, just the skin piece right here. It doesn't even change the internal bodywork. It's just that little piece right there that has to extend on the four-seat rear door, and the rear fender back here has to get extended just a little bit, and those seams are back to perfect seams again. So this will be a running change on four-seater, and we'll obviously get it changed as fast as we can, but we're not going to slow down the start date of production. This will be a running change, something we're just going to have to do as we move down the road. And we could probably get away with it if we didn't have fully enclosed doors like other manufacturers. You wouldn't notice this ½ inch or quarter-inch gap because they don't have doors on them anyways. Here, we give you a door as part of the accessory, and my attention to detail, I just can't let something like this slip by and have a ½ inch gap. You know, we've got our normal, call it 250 thou, 200 thou gap. What is our door gap? Somewhere around there, right? 6 mil? 6 millimeter gap. What does that turn into? About 200 thou, right?
Somebody said just design it where it clips on and off.
Right. Yeah, no, it would be really nice to do that, and it would be 230. Yeah, so I wasn't far off at my initial 250. You know, basically, I kind of walk around with my pinky, and I'm like, okay, if this doesn't fit, you know, we'll fix it and change it. Problem is, this tool is a massive tool. The start says probably, I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to say 750, 800 pound hunk of steel that's all CNC machined inside and outside. It's a massive tool to do this, and it's a big expense and it's a big mistake. But the right thing to do is make a running change, not slow down the four-seaters that were already heading down the road, but to do this as a running change. So we're going to do that, and we're going to keep the standard where we can get all these parts being the same components. Like I said, this was what we were looking at. We went through toy haulers, everything else, and it's just too much. We're going to go ahead and bite the bullet, and we'll get the rear fender fixed for the Bandits.
So you're saying it's no longer 100?
No, it'll be back to 95, 96. It'll be right between those two. I'm going to say it's probably going to end up right at 95 and a half when it's all said and done. So we talked about body. We talked about the mistakes we made, and the consequences really aren't going to hurt much because the four-seater is what the four-seater is, and this will be a running change. We'll do it as a model change and bring the rear fender back.
Back to the clutch cover piece, somebody was asking where the temp sensor would go?
Where the temp sensor would go?
Right on the top.
If you would put it on the top, you would put it in this area right here. Throughout here, it would be a drilled hole right through this process. People have seen other temp sensors on other CVT covers, and it would drop pretty much right between the two sheaves, dead center. Helmets. You know, I know you guys give us flack for bringing new accessories, but this is something that we feel is very, very important to keep the style and the brand. So on my Instagram page, we're going to post these concepts. These are just concepts. And we'd like you guys to kind of pick and choose and see what styles you like. But when you look at a four-seater, you look at California rules, that's a lot of helmets. If we can keep people in our style of products, that would be cool. So don't worry about the model, the brand. This is more of just the style. This is more just the outside helmet designs. Please don't read into this too deep. This is stuff that the graphic guys are doing. This isn't something that we're working on over in engineering. Another thing, a lot of questions came out last week when we posted the white crescent box and the white boxes. That was a mistake. It was something we used for styling, but huh? The design guy's colorblind. Yeah, Blanco is really white, but the CVT covers will be the same color as the bed. They'll be the same color as the speed toolboxes. I call it. It's not quite black. It's more of a dark gunmetal. And it's something that, that obviously it's pretty much this right here. It's the same thing. The boxes, I said CB, I'm sorry. The boxes are gunmetal plastic. Thank you for that, Rob. And these are accessories. This is just how they work, how they latch, how they hold in.
You want to explain the configurations? You can put the crescent in the middle with two side boxes, or the crescent on the side.
Well, I can't do the crescent in the middle on the four-seater. Let me explain. I would have to lower the tailgate down. The only way that the crescent, I think it's good. Daniel asked me to explain more of the configuration, and this configuration is only this configuration for for four-seaters and Bandits. So the four-seater and the short wheelbase two-seater have a shorter bed. They have smaller bed configurations than the Diablo. So on the four-seater, because that's the first car coming out, that's most of our sales. If you were to put the crescent at the front, you would have to open your tailgate, and you see there's another basically nut right there. This would be more the California pre-runner look, where the tires kind of hanging out the beds out the tailgate. Or if you wanted to stay inside the tailgate, both the 32-inch tall tire fits there, the tailgate closes, and the crescent goes on one side. 35 fits there as well. A 35 also fits there, so it is adjusted for a 35, and there is an offset hole here to hold down the spare tire. It doesn't show it in this render, but there is an offset hole. There is, in the front position, there's three holes. There's a center hole, there's a left hole and a right hole, and then there's the rear hole. This render here only has the two holes in it, but this is something you could do. Now, this is going into the Diablo, and the Diablo, obviously, you could do the crescent with a space to put some pack some items in there with your long boxes there, your 35 fits there, and your tailgate would close. So you could pretty much do all kinds of configurations when it comes to the Diablo, but when it comes to the Bandit and the El Jefe, it's more of this configuration here. Does the Crescent with the box close? There's the box open. There is 4 different compartments here. There's some internal grooves if you're going to wrap a CV around the bottom of it, because you can only put one box in there and close the gate if you're going to put a spare tire in it. But obviously you can move over to this configuration here and you get your Crescent, you get your boxes, but the tailgate would have to be down or removed with the spare tire in the back position like a California pre-runner. A lot of options, a lot of neat features. These are just accessories.
Someone wanted to know internal dimensions on it. So we put that.
Internal dimensions. So internal dimensions are here, and there's depth dimensions there of what you can stack in there. So if you're looking at other soft coolers or other items that you want to stick in their toolboxes, whatever you may choose. Office chairs will be available. We started looking at the bases for all of the dealership stuff, and the nice, really bitchin' aluminum ones turned out that we could do a nice sliding base that turns into an office chair. So this is what the dealers will have to actually sit in. We should have some of those pieces in next week, and obviously those can go to the dealership. I've had the chairs for a long time, but the other thing was heavy and awkward. I think this is just going to be a lot easier, and it opens up another cool accessory if someone wants a office chair, which is the exact same seat that you would have in your Speed UTV. And trust me, these things are very, very comfortable. They give you good structure, good body support, as well as the air cushion on the bottom. It's comfortable for an office chair. Both Sherry and Ginger have had these for over a year now, and they won't go back to the old one. Show 16?
Yeah.
All right. Daniel says, so show 16. Crosley has stepped up to be our title sponsor of the Nashville Music City Grand Prix, and I believe that is Big Machine Records, Big Machine Music, Big Machine Vodka, Music City Grand Prix at Nashville. So we will be in Nashville August
Actually, the 6th and the 8th.
6th, 7th, and 8th. 6th is Friday, 7th is Saturday, 8th is Sunday, with a full field SST trucks. I think maybe this thing's starting to recover. This is a full field. We haven't had every truck plumb full in a long time in SST, and we're basically sold out. Looking forward to a bunch of really cool racers that are definitely professionals in their form of motorsport before. One of them, Jeff Ward, is coming back to race with us. He came darn close to winning, obviously, the Indy 500, but as well as I believe he was a champion in Indy Lights, as well as Supercross hero and champion as well. So it's going to be an honor to have him and both Ricky Johnson back with us at Nashville, and a bunch of other drivers that we'll be announcing over the next 2 weeks. So that's back in action. That's about it for tonight's show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said, it's getting hard because we have shown you guys so much. But then again, please understand that we have new customers that have not been with us since all 67 shows. They've only been there, maybe this is their first show, or they've only been here for a few weeks. So please be kind to the people that ask questions, because they are not caught up to speed on exactly what we do. All right. Thank you very much. And I will do 3 phone calls tonight. Caller number 3 is taking away a Speed RC car. Hey, Ron, it's Robby Gordon. How you doing?
Good, Robby. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Everything looks good so far, man. Very happy.
Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. How long have you been a customer for?
I'm number 350.
Number
John
350. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Is there anything that you would like to see, or anything we haven't addressed besides when are we delivering cars, which is the common question.
They'll be delivered when they're ready.
Well, thank you. You know, a lot of people are calling me out for being a smartass on it, but there is so many things that go into this. There's so many suppliers, and there's so many things that have to clip together. But we are close, and I know we've been saying this for a few weeks now. But you've seen production cars now. You've seen pretty much production every part. Now it's just making it happen.
Yep, yes, sir. No, I bought, well, my buddy Chuck, he bought the old Arctic Cat from you. We put the suspension on it.
Yep, exactly. Perfect.
So we met you down at the shop.
I do remember that, and thank you.
So I do have a question though on the seat belts.
Yes.
So let's just say that you want to clip in just a lap belt. Are you able to go 20 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour?
Yes. So the lap belt, no lap belt, I believe it has, you know, it's more like a valet key for dealership stuff. You know, you're going to move it around. So I think it's,
Right.
I want to say we had that thing at like 15 miles an hour. It's really, really slow.
There's a regulation.
There's a regulation, Daniel said. So it's set at that regulation. And if I said a number, I said 15, but there's a regulation.
It's
But
going to be like in a limp mode. That way it's safe.
exactly, that's exactly what it does. But it will still move. So you know, you put the thing in gear, and it's going to move. But you would have to clip all the driver one in, all of the drivers, to take it out of the limp mode. I don't know how many other seats are censored currently. I know driver is the required one as of today, but I would please ask driver take responsibility. Make sure everybody else is buckled up before you take off.
Absolutely. So if you wanted to drive a couple miles with just a lap belt on, it's going to be in limp mode, but you'd have to have all 4 or 5 to get out of limp mode?
You would have to clip all 5 of those together on the driver's side to get out of limp mode.
Okay.
That's just the way it is. That's our requirement. That's what we're going to. That's what we're going to basically tell the computer to do.
Right. Which it does make sense, but I mean, I'll admit, you know, sometimes I would just put a lap belt in if I'm going to follow the kids around.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm going to tell you that I would encourage you to put all 4 of them on, and you know, how do I say it? We've all been in situations. We all know what we want to do, but there's certain things we have to do as a manufacturer. What you guys do after that is your own choice.
Oh no, right. And
I mean, remember we sell. I mean, I don't sell. Let me clarify this. But there's 16-year-olds that have Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Okay, I never had one, but you know what is right and what is safe are up to the purchaser, I guess, at the end of the day.
Like on Polaris and stuff, you get a bypass key if you're really down with it.
I don't know. I honestly, I'm not aware of it. So that's
I know, like,
that's for the aftermarket to play with.
Right, they have those little seatbelt sensors you can put in if you upgrade your seatbelts from a 3-point to a 4 or 5-point. You have those sensors.
Yeah, and you know we did it right from the get-go to basically give you guys the best thing we could give you in our car, and we continue to try to do that at a bargain price. But prices have gone up. We are going to get hurt on some of our cars, but it's okay. It's the cost of what we agreed to do, and people that bought early, like you, that believed in us. You're going to get a better car, even than what I promised you guys at Sand Sports. I mean, we never talked about a CVT cover that would support the bearings of the CVT and give you structural support. That was never, none of those things. It was in my mind to do it once we got in the project, because I try to build a trophy truck on a budget, and that's basically what this car is.
I almost think it's a completely different car than what you promised at Sand Sports. Or
It's a
even when
way.
we came down to the shop and talked to Chris Parker about it and Mike.
It's a way different car, but to be honest, that's what it took to make it right. And that's the part that the people that are giving us a hard time don't understand. It's a process to make something right. And, you know, we didn't just make a chassis or just make, some suspension like we did with some of the other cars. This is tires, wheels, shocks, CVT covers, engines, ECUs. It's everything.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Cool. Well, obviously you'll be at Sand Sports, and like I said, it is our goal that we have at least a production car there for people to sit in, touch, and feel. That's our goal. I've missed other goals, but that is the goal that we are going to work super, super hard for day and night to make sure. Bringing our test cars there. You guys have seen them. We'll bring them there. You guys can see what we've been testing, but we're also going to try to bring you a production car. And I say try, okay? But we are going to work day and night to do everything we can to make that happen.
No, I have faith in you guys.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. What size shirt are you?
XL?
XL. All right. Complimentary shirt coming from Speed UTV. Thank you very much for your questions tonight.
Yep. Thanks, Robby.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
1 down, 2 to go. Who's going to win tonight? Hey, you're on with Robby Gordon. How you doing?
Hey, Robby, it's Tom.
Hey, Tom. What's your master number?
2335.
2335. All right. What size shirt?
2X.
Double X. Wonderful. How can I answer a question for you tonight?
Hey, I was wondering if you could go over the window nets, how they're mounting, everything like that.
I will do that in next week's show. I'll bring that back again. I mean, this is the part being a 2305. Is that right? 2335, right?
Correct.
Yep. These are the things that people that bought cars at 300. It's like you've talked about that before, but the reality is we do get new people in, and so next week I will bring back window nets for you, show them how they mount, how they work, and we'll go from there. Do you have a 4-seater, a 2-seater? What do you have?
4-seater.
All right, El Jefe, RG, LE. What is it?
RG.
All right, perfect. Yep, that's what we'll show next week. We'll show an RG, and we'll show you how they work.
And then, hey, I was also wondering what's driving up the cost of the fuel cells.
The fuel cells. Okay, so let's talk about a 4-seater. Okay, and this is some stuff that we sold. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We sold them. But if we put a 4-seat fuel cell, what we thought we were going to put in a fuel cell, there is no feet room for the back feet passenger. If you want an increased cell, more capacity, basically it'd be fine if you had a small kid, but the adult feet don't fit back in that hole, because the way we did that on the Double X is we did it as a waterfall down under the bottom of your legs down into the foot box. Well, when you put that tank into the 4-seater, it does not fit there. So it has to either be a smaller can. We can do fuel cells, and we're going to, or it has to be the larger one that goes all the way across, like what we use at the races. And we made I think it's like a 35.5 gallon, 36 gallon fuel cell that goes across the back as well.
Okay, so because I ordered the fuel cell to go in there, so is that not what's going in there? I think it was the 20-gallon fuel cell.
It's not going to go without losing room. All right, and who's your sales rep?
Dealing with Mamacita.
Okay. Yep, Carla. I'm going to have Carla give you a call, or you reach out to Carla, and you guys can discuss what you want to do. But there is no way to put a fuel cell in that car without losing room, because the fuel cell and the fuel pump, you use your standard fuel pump in the fuel cell, if that makes sense. Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, what's your intention? Just for safety or for extra fuel mileage? Racing? What was your intentions?
Kind of all the above.
All the above.
It was behind the seat, and possibly if I wanted to go race like sportsman with the kids in the car or whatever, at least it's ready.
How big are kids?
They're young.
Yeah, because I would say up to 10, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's when you get smaller than that, you wouldn't have the room down below your feet. We will make a couple size fuel cells. So we'll get the biggest fuel cell we can, but the reality is it goes right where the feet are in the back seat. Back passenger seat. If you want the 22 gallon, I have to take that space.
So there's basically no foot room anymore.
There's no foot room, and then there's no room to go anymore between the floorboard and the bottom of the seat because we've already maximized every bit of that space to get the 13.5 that we've already got.
Gotcha.
So I can have a 13.5 fuel cell for
I guess
safety.
some options that someone pays for, maybe you shouldn't put it up there, like let people know.
This is stuff that we just came across in the last week. So it's not stuff that obviously when you start putting parts in cars, it's like, uh-oh, where are we going to put the feet? And
No, I got you. I mean, I've built race cars. I've watched you since the Firecracker 250 in Barstow. Like I've been around it for a long time. So
yeah, we've got ourselves in a rabbit hole here, and with the fuel cell, okay? And there's only so much you can do. Now we can, if you're going to cut tubes out, it's a completely different game. But we're trying to make stuff that goes in the car with fabrication tools that guys can do in their garage.
no, I understand completely.
Now, you want to cut the front seat out and you want to remount the front seat. Obviously, our current fuel cell would fit in the front seat. But you're going to have to extend your wires, you're going to extend your hoses. It's going to turn into a massive deal to make that work.
Gotcha.
Where on our other cars, when we did the fuel cells and the double X's, it was basically a plug and play, and it just waterfalled from the seat down to the floorboard. But when you put it in the four-seater, you either have to cut your front seat mounts out and do it that way, and then you could waterfall it. But then it's new fuel lines, it's new electrical, it's all kinds of other things to make that work. And it just depends how much work does the customer want to do. So we will make a bolt-in fuel cell for the back of the four-seater so that it is legit, safe, and legal. But we also believe that our production fuel tanks are safe as well, but they're not legal for races.
No, totally understand that. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Extra protection.
I can appreciate it, and I would do it as well. Then I just have to make the choice. Okay, do I want that passenger back seat? The smallest kid could always ride in the back seat because their feet isn't touching the ground anyways.
Right.
I just don't know how old your kids are, and each person's going to have to decide that on their own.
Yeah, 6 and 10. So, I mean, as far as like the foot spacing, you're taking up like 6 inches, a foot off of.
How about this? Next week, please tune in next week, and I will draw you the fuel cell in the car so you can see it, and then it's going to be a lot easier to explain. But we'll also show you what we can do and what the options for you guys to do as well, because companies like Fuel Safe will go off and make custom cells for anybody. You don't have to be Robby Gordon to get a fuel cell. You can call Fuel Safe and make your own.
If a guy wants to race a four-seater as 2 seats,
Yeah.
put the Diablo.
Yeah, that's what Daniel's saying. So now guys that want to race the four-seater as a 2-seater, the Diablo fuel tank would go across the whole back seat and you'd have 35 gallons. But now you've taken your 4-seater and made it a 2-seater with 35 gallons of fuel.
So get the Diablo.
So get the Diablo. That's obviously was the intention of the Diablo, is to have something close to a package that would be a very easy transition. But just so we're all on the same page, 80% of our sales have been 4-seaters. It's families that want to go out and have fun with their families, want to be safe, like what you're talking about, and I can appreciate that. So we will make a smaller fuel cell that goes in there so you can continue with your 4 seats. We will also make a mid-size fuel cell that you lose your 3rd seat or 4th seat leg room. We will do that, and we have no problem making all of those components because those are one-off components. These are not complete manufactured parts like what we do, like we're trying to do, where we have to build. We have lofty goals. And I think the goal was, when I put it to Matt the other day, a car every 19 minutes.
That sounds good.
So, but that's how we can keep the cost down.
For the smaller fuel cell, you're looking at like probably a 15-gallon.
We can get about, with a little bit of, taking just a little bit of the room, we can get about 13.8 to 14 gallons. And call it on hard pack, 9 to 10 miles a gallon. That's about 140 miles, anywhere from 120 to 140 miles on the hard pack. And in the sand, I think we all know that you're down in the sevens if you're just dune riding.
Yeah, no, I'm pure desert.
Yeah. So you're gonna be between the 8 and 10 mile range. Depends on uphill terrain, altitude, other things.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Carla, give me a call. And
I will have Carla give you a call. I know she's probably listening tonight. And 2335, Carla needs to give him a call and talk about fuel tanks. All right.
Okay.
This is one situation where we probably put the cart in front of the horse. We were thinking we could take something we had before and modify it to fit in this car, but it just doesn't work.
all right. Well, thank you for your time, Robby.
All right. Thank you.
And up to good work.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
It's truth. I mean, at the end of the day, it's truth, and we do make mistakes. Got a winner right here. Winner, chicken dinner.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
What's your master number?
Master number is 88.
88. A real believer.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
Early number.
All right. Well, you got a speed RC car. Which one do you want?
Any kind.
You want Mad Max or you want an RG or?
Let's do the RG.
All right.
Oh no, you want the Max one.
I just want to say I appreciate it, man. I've been following you guys for a long time, and incredible car, worth the wait.
Well, thank you. It's got so many small details. I mean, it's making our own bolts at the end of the day. Every single piece that we had shoulder. It's been a lot of small details, but we're close now.
Yeah, dude, you know what? The show, believe it or not, the show's like it's an awesome show. Just watching the progress. You know what I mean? It's unique. It's one of a kind, and you can always go back and watch all those shows as the project things go on.
Well, thank you. And like I said, we have some new customers that come in from time to time, and we got to get back on what does the car come with and some of those things. So just like we had with window nets on the collar before, and the fuel tank. That was we have made some mistakes, and that has cost us a little bit, and we of time, and we learn from those mistakes and dot our I's and cross our T's just a little bit better. What size T-shirt as well?
XL.
XL, perfect. You got a Speed RC car and an XL Speed UTV shirt coming towards you.
Sweet. Sounds good. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and just the motivation's awesome. Just keep it up.
Well, thank you. It's trust me, every week we get here and it's like, hey, what are we going to talk? We've showed you guys pretty much everything, and trying to keep it real. Show you new parts as they come, or changes, or even mistakes when we make them.
Hey, it's all part of racing. It's all part of the trade.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for understanding. Appreciate you choosing Speed UTV. And will you be at Sand Sports?
I will be at Sand Sports.
All right, perfect.
Sure.
I will be at Sand Sports on Friday and Sunday. Unfortunately, the Baja 400 is on Saturday, so you guys can all yell at Todd on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll definitely be down there Friday. It's been a long time coming to take a look at that car, sit in it, and just check it out.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you on Friday night.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right. That's going to be a wrap on show 6-7. We'll see you back next week. Any questions you want, obviously, go ahead and post the notes. We do read these things. If you talk too much negative, we will delete and block you. Just the way it is. Thank you very much.
One more.
All done.
All in.
All done.
Max can take one.
I get to take one. Can I?
All done.
Can I get to take one?
All done.
Hey, you're on with Max Gordon.
Hey, Max. Is the show over?
Yeah, show's over.
We're still on Facebook though, right?
We're
Facebook's still
Facebook.
on. Mac's going to go ahead and take the booth here and answer questions tonight.
Got it. So, what's that? So I can ask a question?
I get to take this call. What's your question?
Is there going to be a bed cover? Are you guys going to make a bed cover that goes over the bed, like on hydraulics or something? I mean, like on gas struts?
Yes, we are. 2 of them.
Two versions.
Two versions. I'll help him here. I'm shaking my head in the background. Yes.
And then you put up 2
And I
fingers.
put up 2 fingers. So the answer is we will make a hard shell and we will make a soft shell, but that'll obviously be an accessory down the road. We have not developed it yet, but it's definitely something we want. Hard shell, I see that thing closing and being able to lock your stuff in. So if you go on a weekend ride, you leave it at a hotel, you're good to go. You can leave your stuff in the back.
Yeah, and domed up just a little bit, enough to cover the spare tire in there.
Exactly. So that it'll be about a 2-inch raise, but it will seal across the top. We'll do everything we can to try to keep it as sealed as possible. And that was the intention and the design from the get-go. But there's been so many other accessories that have come before it, but that is something we'll definitely do. We have also messed around and we put a Gordini hatch on the back of it as well. We've played with a bunch of things, but obviously not developed it yet.
Well, cool. Sounds good. Tell Matt if I ever get through number 4, I'm going to get one of his trucks.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks. You guys have a good night.
All right, you know what? Max has been working hard. What's your master number?
Master number 1765.
1765. Go ahead and write that down, Max. 1765. Max is going to have to work an extra couple hours tomorrow because he's going to buy you a Mad Max truck.
All right.
All right. So, yes, you get a Mad Max truck coming in the mail. 1764.
All right.
1764.
Make sure Max signs it. I want his autograph.
1764, right?
1765.
65.
I had it right.
All right, you had it right the first time.
Yep.
And
Yellow.
T-shirt size.
Double extra large.
XXL. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks. You guys have a good night.
All right, have a good night.
All
Thanks
right.
for calling in.
Show's over.
Bye.
All right. Bye.